y'all, this is Gene on the Elvis Burger 2020 tour, and where I'm at right now looks like the middle of nowhere, but what it actually is I'm a few miles out of Stanfield, Arizona. It's about an hour south of Phoenix, and it is kind of middle of nowhere. It's halfway between Casa Grande, Arizona, which is on I-10, halfway between Phoenix and Tucson, and on the other side of it is Gila Bend, Arizona. And it's about maybe 13 miles or so west of here. And if you ever watch the Weather Channel, other than Death Valley, they'll say usually you hear the hottest place in the U.S. on any given day is Gila Bend, Arizona. And where I'm going to is about, like I say, about 13, 14, 15 miles east of it. Stanfield is where I wound up. Actually, my first morning waking up here was the 5th of May, so it was Cinco de Mayo. But it was in 1986. I hitchhiked from Ocala, Florida, where I live now. It's my hometown, and not where I was born, but I spent a significant part of my life there. And hitchhiked out here to Stanfield, Arizona. And as you see, there's not a lot out here. But I knew someone out here, and I came out here, and this is kind of like where I went. And I worked on a sod farm out here, and I worked chopping cotton out here. This is where I was talking with Julia about when I worked the fields. This was it. It was down here. And anyways, just wanted to show you a quick pic. When I come into town, I'm going to stop for a few minutes and maybe get some photos and whatnot. And I'm hoping to get down to Saguaro National Park this evening near Tucson to maybe get some photos and video of the sunset in the mountains there with the giant saguaro cactus. So in the meantime, this is Elvis Burger 2020. Gene, over and out. Bye-bye. What you're looking at right there is Tabletop Mountain in the distance. I'm in Stanfield, Arizona. I hitchhiked here in 1986 to see a friend, and it's been 32 years. Does that sound right? 1986, 96 to the 34 years? Long time since I've been here. And I'm going to show you something I found. Stanfield still exists. You can see it here. A lot of agriculture. Like I said, I work the fields here. See, that's downtown. That's looking down to downtown Stanfield right there. But what I want to show you is where I used to live. First, let me show you where I'm at. Here we got Maricopa Tacos. That's new. At least new by my standards. And if you look down here,
in 3/4 of a mile, turn right onto South Stanfield.
You see that water tower down there about a couple hundred feet? Well, right down there, that was the entrance to A&G Sod Farm. But it looks like it ain't there now. And in between, where we're walking from is where I used to live. We're gonna come back to my old place here in just a minute. And it still stands, but it's certainly not the place I had though. Where I lived was pretty basic. It was more or less an adobe, had a swamp cooler in it, something resembling a shower and a toilet, something like a kitchen. Not much. In fact, I don't think it really worked well. I think I had to eat out all the time. I don't remember. But this building right here, this wooden building, this was Joe's place. This is when I lived here, there were 600 people, 6 bars, and 6 churches. That pretty well describes this place. Well, this was Joe's place. This is the first bar I ever came to here. It wasn't my regular bar. That was the Golly Whomper Gulch Saloon, which is now joined with another bar next to it, Cowtown or something. I was down there. I had a few beers earlier. Had a gentleman's pint. For those of you who know me, you know what a gentleman's pint is. I had a gentleman's pint of Bud Light. This is Joe's place. This is not the main entrance. Actually, yes, it was. But this is what's left of Joe's. Joe's doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't look, well, if the 6 bars aren't still here, I don't know if there's 6 bars, 16, or whatever, but Joe's place is not one of them. Now this here This is what's left of the front of the sod farm I worked at, AG Sod Farm. It's kind of convenient. I had my place, and then I had a bar in between my place and work, and I could walk to work in like, you know, 3 minutes flat. Walking kind of slow now, but I could walk a lot faster when I had to get to work on time. But this is what's left of the front of AG Sod Farm. AG ain't here no more. I worked for a guy named Kurt Geldmacher, and Kurt was a calf roper, and he went out on the weekends, and he was in PBR Pro Rodeo. And I guess, I don't know how many years ago it was. It was 10 years ago, whatever. I actually flipped across like ESPN 3 or something, PBR Pro Rodeo was on, and Kurt Geldmacher was riding. He was calf roping, and he was the defending world champion. And he always told me he would be the world champion one day, and I would give him shit, you know, in a good-natured way. And there I was. I just happened to flip across the TV one, and there was Kurt, world champion. That's a linear. That's a piece of a linear. That's the, you know, see like really long, big long irrigation devices that like roll up and down the field. We had the linears out in the sod fields. I could walk farther down in. I think there's still some crops back in there. I got a few photos earlier. It didn't look like sod though. So whatever it is out there, I don't know what they got growing. But this is what's left of where I worked at the sod farm with a few guys on the harvest crew all day. That was quite the experience. So let me come on back down. The sun's in my eyes. It's about 100. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon right now, or 5, something like that. And right now it's around 102, 103. I don't know. But it's the wind's blowing light. This, like I said, it's not desert weather, so it doesn't feel hot at all. To be perfectly honest, you know, I'm just chilling. I got on my sandals, my shorts, no shirt, and I'm actually dressed. Well, I would have been wearing work boots back then. I would have been wearing work boots, and other than that, I'm dressed right now exactly like I would have been harvesting sod on the back of that tractor, stacking pallets. Be shorts, work boots. Generally, there's about 4 or 5 of us on the team. I think a couple of the guys wore t-shirts, cut the sleeves off or something. I went shirtless. I just had I guess my baseball hat and my shades, pretty much was it. Maybe I wore a do-rag once in a while, a bandana, I don't remember. But I'm gonna walk back down. You see Snoopy down there in the distance. I'm gonna walk back down. And this house right here, where there was a guy, man, he sold weed here, and he was kind of a tough dude, you know. When I first moved in, the word was that I was some undercover DEA agent or some crap, snooping on him. And to be honest, back then I was young and stupid, so I just came over to his house one Saturday afternoon, man. Like, you know, just walked in. I mean, I didn't walk in, I knocked, but you know, I walked in and said, hey, what's up, man? I'm your neighbor, I'm Gene. Hey, man, you got any herb? And he was with some dudes, and they were like rolling up a blunt or something. I don't know. We ended up smoking. He never messed with me after that. He figured out that A, I wasn't in the DEA. B, I smoked, and C, I was a crazy son of a bitch. We never really were friends per se, but he decided I was crazy enough that I fit right in. Now this is, I don't know how much the sun is messing this up right now. I guess we're coming up. I can't really even see in the, I'm walking in my car and busting my shin. This is where I used to live. And now it's not much, as you see. But this is where I lived in 1986, summer of 86, harvesting sod down the street. And we're gonna just walk in. I'll give you a tour of my old apartment. See the beer can on the floor. This is where I lived. This was it. My this wall right here by the broken toilet bowl, which is probably my old toilet. I had a sofa right here. I had a dog then, a young stray dog. This was all empty. I had no furniture, but I had a sofa there, and I came around. And over here, there was sort of a kitchen. I think you can see. Oh, maybe there wasn't. Maybe I didn't have a kit, but here's where the swamp cooler went. If you don't know what a swamp cooler is, it's an Arizona air conditioner. Totally different from what we have in Florida. Anybody worth the salt in Arizona knows how to fix one of these by hand. It works on a totally different basis than a standard air conditioner because of the low humidity. And over here, in this creepy looking little closet, this was my bathroom. I think my toilet was out there by my sofa now. But you see, it's kind of a, there's the old shower. Somebody drank a lot of Cokes in here. But this is where I lived. And me and this dog I had. And I harvested sod, basically sunrise to sunset. 5 days a week, quite often 6 days a week. We sold it to a lot of golf courses and stuff up around Vegas and Phoenix and wherever. But this is it. And I guess that's my old toilet sitting by where my sofa was. I don't know, but this really makes me realize how long ago this was, 32 years ago. But it was funny because I was down at the bar that used to be where I bartended, and I met a woman named Veronica. She's a Tohono O'odham Indian, Native American, and she worked at a resort place that's up the road here about, I don't know, 8-9 miles toward Casa Grande, that was for a while the spring training location for the San Francisco Giants. And she was executive chef there for, I don't know, she said like 10, 12 years, something like that. And I dropped a few names in a few places, mentioned Joe's Place, you know, being what it is. And she realized I had been here, and we had a great time. I had a couple, 3 pints of beer, a good gentleman's pint, and we hung out. And to settle my tab, I had to buy 3 drink coupon tokens. If you don't know what drink tokens are, you haven't been out and around by Stanfield. And I left them for her and said, this will cost you 1 selfie with me. And we had a great time. And so the next time she comes in, she can drink her cans of Keystone Light with 3 freebies. I think that's cool. I told her, you're the first chef I ever bought a beer for in my damn life. And we had a good laugh. We were trading stories about cooking days, and you know, it was pretty cool. But this is where, it didn't look much better than this, to be honest. Well, it did look a little better. But you can imagine, I lived in some pretty bare bones austerity. And this is kind of like my Tenderloin video from a couple weeks ago in San Francisco, where I have to say, if you want to understand me, you need to understand this place. You need to understand Stanfield. You need to understand harvesting sod in 110-degree weather. You need to understand bare bones living. You need to understand the basics. So anyways, this is Gene. I'm signing out. Elvis 2020. I think I'm headed home. I've got some people I can see in Denver. I've got some people I can see in St. Louis, and they're good people. They're friends of mine, and I would love to see them. But to be honest, as I drove down here, I realized that coming to Stanfield, it was kind of like I hit the Flagstaff to Stanfield and on down. This was my hitchhiking trip, my trip in the 80s. And I feel coming back to Stanfield, even to this, really, well, you know, kind of, you get a feeling the people that are hanging out here now might be doing a little meth, maybe smoking a little rock, drinking some beer. You know what I mean? This is not exactly the positive environment. Coming back to this room where I lived when I was 22 years old, just hitchhiked out here, turned 23 that summer. Threw a keg party in here one time, my 23rd birthday. We had 2 local bartenders and me, and I've ended up bartending later on. And the keg, I think it was like a Budweiser or something, it had a bad like tap, you know, and we couldn't tap the keg with the tapper. And we had 3 of us bartenders sitting around trying to cap a keg of Bud, and we basically had about 12 people coming over. So this was going to be a serious drink fest. And we were unable to tap it. I got my money back. I got it through my a friend of mine who owned a bar here. And so I went down to the Golly Whomper. This is before I worked there. I went down there and ended up drinking, I'm ashamed to say this, on my 23rd birthday, I drank something like a shit ton of screwdrivers, well screwdrivers, you know, vodka and orange juice. I want to say it was something like 24, maybe it was 12. But they were very strong. And eventually the bartender sent me home to walk the mile or whatever it is back here. And the reason why, I said, well, am I misbehaving? Am I being out of line? Am I, you know, being stupid? She goes, no, that's the scary thing. You're drinking your ass off and you're actually pretty damn normal. So I'm going to send you home for a nap. And so I came back to here. And like I said, it did look better than this. The toilet happened to be where the toilet's supposed to be. But believe me, you don't exactly picture this being, you know, deluxe accommodations or anything resembling it. But this is where I lived when I was 22, just turned 23. Hey, you want to understand Gene? Know this room. No Stanfield. No San Francisco in the Tenderloin. Don't judge me because I live in Ocala, because I've been a few other places. And I'm coming home. Anyways, I'm gonna walk on out of here. What is this? What is this over here? Oh, somebody's pants. Okay then. Let's walk out the side door here. This is there's a taco. This would have been pretty cool living here back then, because look, I got a taco truck next door.
Proceed to the route.
Wouldn't that have been nice? Well, this taco truck was not next door to me then. Like I say, I lived down the street from my job at the sod farm, right there across from Tabletop Mountain, and had a bar and the dope man in between. So, you know, that was kind of life. And this was not your friendly dope man. This was the dope man who, when I walked in that Saturday with his buddies, had a handgun sitting there locked and loaded right there on the coffee table next to that weed. But he was convinced that I was DEA. There was a lot of smuggling going on then. And he was basically tapping off some wholesalers and getting a pretty good deal. And I walked in, man, just Saturday afternoon. I'd had a few beers, didn't give a shit. Figured, what the hell, might as well, you know, let's meet my neighbor. And I walked in, loaded handgun there, and just sat down like no big deal. And I believe I had a little herb on me. I must have picked it up somewhere because I matched him out a couple bowls. He thought that was pretty cool. And after that, you know, it was pretty much smooth sailing with him. So yeah, Gene's not exactly no, man. I say, if you want to know me, there's some things about me that you will not see at surface value, and living here is one of them. And I'm gonna get out of here now. I want to get down towards Tucson, and there's Tabletop Mountain. And this is Gene, and this is the Elvis Burger 2020 tour. And I don't know if I'll ever come back here, but maybe Veronica, the chef, will give me a drink token. Who knows? I'm leaving Stanfield. Wow, it's kind of a trip. I never thought I'd be here. This road, this is coming from Casa Grande. This is going west out of Stanfield toward I-10. This is about maybe 13 miles to I-10. I want to mention, some of y'all, you know I do a little bike riding again, and I say, hey, back in the day, you know, I used to ride bikes and stuff. Well, this road you're looking at, and it was this time of year, it was the last week of June. I was actually on the road in Arizona riding at this time, it was 1989, so what, 31 years ago? This was and coming the other way into Stanfield. I'm going backwards to it now, but coming the other way was the end of my bike ride from Flagstaff to Stanfield. It was like the last week or so, whatever it was in June. I don't know how many miles that is. It was the back way. It wasn't obviously down the interstate. It was the back way down the east side of the state. I think the hottest day I was in, I want to say it's Coolidge, Arizona. I don't remember, but I stopped at a 7-Eleven to grab a Gatorade. I think it was 116 degrees. I shit you not. I made this ride to come down to meet a friend who was driving from Florida, who I ended up marrying her. And we had a beautiful daughter together who now is in West Virginia, Sarah. I love her intensely. And her daughter, Layla. And anyways, this was the end of the ride. I rode this road. I basically had a 12-speed Nishiki road bike. I had a fanny pack on. I had a pack over my handlebars, and I had my sleeping bag with a couple odds and ends rolled up into it, strapped over the back tire. I think the most I rode a day was 77 miles, and I think I averaged about 55 miles a day, if I remember. But this was back when I was 25. So when I talk about getting back into shape, and sometimes people say, "Oh, Gene, you're in good shape," you know, blah blah blah. What I'm talking about is I'm thinking back to when, like, I was 25 and I rode whatever, how many hundreds of miles it was to get from Flagstaff down here into the Deep Valley area of Arizona, down here in the desert. But it was a hell of a ride, man. It was a hell of a ride. I only had one flat tire. It was a Pace in Arizona. Got it fixed. Changed it myself. But man, so many memories down in here. Some good ones, some bad ones, some middle of the road ones. I don't know. It's just really weird. Like, I got down here and it's almost like a closure or something. So I think maybe it's just time to drive home, man, through Texas. And like I said, I've got a couple friends I wanted to see in Arizona. I mean, not Arizona, excuse me, Colorado. And I wanted to go through Kansas. I wanted to stop in Goodland, Kansas, which is where I wrote my first poem that I have in my notebooks. It was called White Lines. It was from a motorcycle ride. The white lines referred to both the white lines of the highway I was riding on my bike, and to be perfectly honest, the white lines that I was tooting up every now and again to keep going. That bike ride, that motorcycle ride was basically fueled by, I'll be honest, man, liberal amounts of cocaine and coffee at some roadside diners. But that was a long time ago. You know, I don't mess with that stuff anymore. It's been a long time. But yeah, I had some wild days, I guess. But I'm leaving Stanfield now, and like I said, I finished that bike ride down here on this road. So just coming out. I think I got into Stanfield somewhere in the early afternoon. So, or no, it's late morning. I remember I was riding this in the morning, but it was probably, I don't know, 102, 103, 104 already, probably riding down this road. You see, it's a straight, flat road. It's about 13 miles from Casa Grande. And I rode this son of a bitch. To be perfectly honest, I think I'm a pale comparison of who I was back then. And in a lot of ways, I was a messed up dude. I drank way too much. I was known to occasionally do a little bump or two of crank, you know, to go out and load sod all day. I wasn't the only one on the crew that did that, by the way, including my boss. But here I am back again. It's been 32 years. And I still occasionally drink a little too much. I don't mess with the powder. And I know damn well I couldn't survive a day out in these fields right now. I'm soft as hell. I remember when I used to maybe be a little more, well, they sound like an old Bob Seger tune, like a rock. You know, I think that song came out the summer I lived here. I do remember getting airplay. Anyways, I'm gonna shut the phone down, do some driving, and just kind of think about being here this afternoon. I think of this place often. Almost every night I go to sleep, somewhere, you know, Stanfield kind of flashes through my mind, and I think about my times here years ago. And I really never, I thought about coming through again one day, and I never really thought I would, to be perfectly honest. And yet here I am, and coming into Casa Grande. This is Casa Grande, Arizona. This would be the local big city, which I guess Ocala, where I live, has got about 55,000 people. I don't think Casa Grande is even close to that big. This would be the local big metropolis. And I'm guessing, off the top of my head, I'm just going to take a guess that Casa Grande has maybe on a good day 25,000, 30,000. And my guess is it's probably far lower than that. They do have a Kmart, because I worked at it for a while. I know that. They do have a Kmart. They do have a Whataburger I used to go to pretty regular. Anyways, so I'm gonna pay attention to the road and everything, so I don't miss any speed limit signs or do anything stupid. This is Elvis Burger 2020. Gene, I'm out of here. Bye. Hey y'all, this is Gene. I'm in Casa Grande, and this building, this abandoned building here, is where I lived. It was sort of a, I don't know, quasi-homeless shelter, rent a room. I don't know how to describe it. But this is where I lived when I was chopping cotton. and washing semis and doing some under the table roofing and whatever. Got a weird little community here of a group of people. But right where I'm standing in this spot, this is basically where about 3 a.m. we'd be out here, get picked up by a couple of trucks to go out to the fields that are east of here. Maybe I don't know, 5, 10, 8 miles. I don't know. I lived. Let me think. If you look on the bottom floor and you see the particle board over the windows, and you'll see in that 2-story part of the building, there's basically 4 rooms up top, 4 rooms on the bottom. I was the lower floor, second from the right. So it would be the, you see where the electrical box is. I was just to the right of that. That was my window. You look in the back here by the stop sign, there's a little lower part to the back of this building here by that palm tree. This is sort of a separate addendum, a little, almost like a studio apartment, basically. And a guy that I roofed with, and he didn't work the fields. He roofed, and we did wash semis together. His name, a guy named Larry. He was a non-vet, did a couple tours in places that he wasn't authorized to discuss. He had some issues, had some heavy drinking issues. He had a lot of issues. He was a meth head. I will never forget sitting in that room watching a little, transistor rabbit ear TV with me and him and a buddy of mine. We didn't know how hard he was tweaking that night. We weren't. I didn't do that stuff then. And I'm not lying when I tell you that he had a flashback or whatever, claimed I was VC. It was during the 3rd quarter of the Monday Night Football. It was the Jets at the Patriots. It was in the fall 1986. And he took out a sawed-off double-barreled shotgun, had his finger on the trigger, and had it to my head. And I was 23 years old by a few months. That was the first time a weapon was ever pulled on me. And I had a tweaked out war vet with issues, finger on the trigger, with double-barreled sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun to my head. And I remember thinking to myself, well, if he pulls this trigger, at least I'm not going to feel anything, because he's going to blow my head to mush. And between me and a friend of mine I was with, we managed to talk him down. I told him I wasn't VC, I wasn't Charlie, I wasn't whatever. And then hastily yet courteously got back to my room, man. And then Larry acted next time like nothing had happened. But this was my life. When I was 22, 23, my first year out of the Army. And again, much like the Tenderloin, much like that beat up old whatever room that I videoed in Stanfield, this is a place I live. I actually, to be honest, when I started writing poetry, I lived here. And some people who know some of my work, like Little Ones, for example. Little Ones, what became Little Ones was written in this building right here in to be precise, this was 1987 when I lived here, summer of 1987. Facing toward downtown, I wrote a couple poems downtown. Yeah, some of the chorus, some of my best writing came out of this building right here in that little room. Here, I'll go back to where my window would have been. I'm pretty sure, I think it was the second one down. I don't think it was the first. Yeah, this one right here. I did not write Little Ones in this room. I wrote it actually down the street. Yeah, David Moss, your favorite poem, Little Ones. It was written right here. And Larry, right down there, stuck a loaded double-barrel shotgun to my head one night when he was tweaking on meth, when he invited us down for beer on Monday Night Football and decided not to tell us that he was, like Breaking Bad tweaking, man. I mean, it was rough. And you'll never understand, but there's some clothes left over. I want to get out of here. About 2 blocks down from here, there's a park. My old line boss, Gene Mesa, used to live down in there. And it was a rough neighborhood down. I guess it's worse now. There's about 52 cops down in there. Something going on. And I just don't feel like hanging around. There's a lot of gang stuff here. It's a rough, there's Snoopy. But yeah, right down here, you can see those tanker cars down there. It was right down about that way. Walking home from bar one night, Gene Mesa, he passed out on the tracks and got run over by a train and died. And that was in '87. He was I could write a book about Gene Mason, my line boss. He was a very fascinating individual. You can see the sun starting to go down there in the west, and I'm gonna get on out of here. And man, this is it. This is where I lived when I was chopping cotton. Be perfectly honest, take the boards out of the windows and the doors, and it looked just about like this 32 years ago. It was not, or 31 years ago. It was not exactly the Hilton, I can tell you that. This is Elvis Burger 2020. Gene, I'm out of Casa Grande, heading down to Tucson. Later on, bye. I also wrote some of the best poetry of my life here, just right back over here in my room. I'm gonna read you one of those poems. And David Moss, this is for you, buddy, back in Gainesville, Florida, your favorite poem. What Became Little Ones was written right here in Casa Grande, Arizona in the summer of 1987. And it goes like this. Little ones. Hip hip hooray for the little ones. Hey bartender, pour the house around for the little ones. Hey dude, you in the corner, roll one up, fire one up for the little ones. You know, the little ones who hobble through life, one leg and a crutch, moaning pretenses of hazy days, curbstone mud splashes in darkened alleyways, the little ones. Why you, the walking wounded, why we salute you here, here, a quarter or dime fine wine time. Old clothes seek refuge on tired bodies, always around on ancient time mattresses. Professional storytellers, each and every one of them, shuffling onwards toward chlamydian, clapboard, shanties, and making for excellent mantelpieces of public apathy, the little ones. But beware, little children, because he's got big feet. Pepsi generation prophet walking tall to stomp tender grapes into caramel coloring, and simple vines choke and wither near soup lines of collective psychosis under big city winter smog showers. And success, sweet success, distant drum success, success, sweet kiss of Novocaine that numbs the soul. A voice from the underground calls you out to account for yourself. The poor and sick will always be around because you see they've got no place else to go. Love speaks no mysteries, yet we remain deaf. What did I say? Oh yes, only that we are all bag ladies at heart. Just most of us push around more expensive shopping carts. Elvis Burger 2020, Casa Grande, Arizona, heading east. This is Gene, I'm out of here. Be blessed. Hey y'all, this is Gene on the Elvis Burger 2020 tour. I'm at White Sands National Monument right now. I am not standing on the dunes, but it looks like I might be, but actually I'm, as you can see, it's so bright out here, even in my shades. But you can see I'm actually on the stand. There's some people down here with their kids. They're like, they got one of these like sled things, and they're sledding down the dunes. Like, don't be a dumbass like that, even for your kids. There's a reason why, you know, you're not supposed to leave footprints on the dunes. I think you maybe see those over there. They're all over the place here. People aren't walking around. Don't do that. Don't be stupid. Hey, I'm here for a reason. I actually came out here, behind me, think about that way. I was planning on driving 2.5 hours north on a hard paved road through this to go to a certain place. It's called Trinity. It's where the first atomic bomb exploded. But I found out it's 2.5 hours of driving, no water. It's serious shit, man, to get back in there and back out. I was gonna drive in. I had a video I wanted to shoot in the evening and then drive back in the dark. See the stars, because I bet they're magnificent out here. It turns out that it's closed except the first weekend in April and the first weekend in October. So I can't go down there, but I do want to read the poem that I wanted to read there because I couldn't think of a better place on the entire planet Earth to read it. get back here. Here's the poem. Dedicated to Trinity Site, Ground Zero, where the first nuclear bomb was exploded in July of 1945. And then a 3 weeks later, we dropped a couple of them on Japan, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And hopefully no nuclear explosion will ever take place on this planet again, and we'll get rid of the ones we've got. Not just us, but I mean the other countries that have them. Anyways, here's the poem. It's called Technicolor Blues. I've got a feeling, lives deep in the base of my skull. Comes out at night if the stars play silent guardian to my deepest fears. I'll sense its presence, ice water down my spine. Still motion generation. Watch the replay. Did the bomb miss us this time? I keep all my anxieties in a little box under the sofa. I lay on to watch the evening news with perfect apathy. I consume their views while contemplating the fact that my shoes tracked in some mud and spattered my crushed velvet lifestyle. Frozen resonance strikes against my heart, and with a bit of a start, I attempt to explain to myself without a doubt what it's all about. But then George Jetson comes on, so I sit and I quit, not a moment too soon, for my minute ride to a cartoon moon, wondering all the while, does a nuclear war come in Technicolor?
Even like you said, landing yesterday, probably close to 100 something, and you were comfortable.
Oh yeah, because it's that dry heat.
No humidity.
Right, desert life.
Easy. It's a lot different from 12 years ago in Florida.
Right.
You know, fighting crazy battles. You come out here and different laws, different things.
This is Gene, Elvis Burger 2020, doing the interview with my buddy Chris here in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. We got to talk. There's an AC right behind the camera, so and we had to turn off the fan. Like we've turned your. This is the coolest. If you want to pan around, this is Rachel on the camera, and she's just quietly. She didn't want to be on the video, so she's doing the filming. But yeah, if you get bored with our mouth, just blabbing, just kind of like anybody, just pan around. This is a great apartment you have.
It's kind of the high desert.
High desert.
High desert plain.
The high desert plain.
Yeah. We're about a mile high. Believe that or not.
Yeah. I am.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You know, what made you decide how you were gonna bring it back to Florida from leaving Portland? Like you
mean the route I'm taking, or where my head's at, or what I'm gonna take back with me? Well, let's see the route. Left Portland, went up to Ash Mama and the Autonomous Zone for a while up there in Seattle. And I just want to say this, and I'm going to tag you, Bobby. Bobby Elder, I screwed up when I did not see you. That has eaten at me every day since I left. Like, if I had the time, time wouldn't be, if I had the money, I would probably just drive all the way back there to, was it Lucyville, whatever, I'm not sure the name. Is it Lucy? It's by Olympia. It's by Olympia, Washington. I would drive all the way back up there just to see you. Like, that would be the only reason why. That's the only reason I would need. I just want to apologize. That was poor judgment on my part. I was worried about time and money a little too much. So anyways, I just want to say that, what we were talking about, what were we talking about? Oh, the route. So yeah, I went up and saw Ash Mama, who you know, and she knows you. And then came back down to Portland overnight real quick, looking for my AirPods, because I lost the AirPods. Somehow I still have the case. I can't believe I did that. I still got some plug-in ones though, so we're cool. Got an adapter for the new iPhone, so they'll work, so it's all good. But went down through the Redwoods, and then down the California coast, and then down through Santa Rosa overnight. Saw a couple of friends there, and then down into San Francisco for a couple hours to see a buddy there. Then to see Adele Sackler in Sacramento for a few days. Then down through the agricultural valley, got lost up around Yosemite. Almost literally ran into a bear in the middle of the night, cresting the Sierra Nevada, crossed Nevada, made it through rush hour in Salt Lake City, went to Moab, Arches, had a good time there, then drove down through Monument Valley, went to the spot where Forrest Gump stopped running, and on down to Phoenix, where I saw my friend Julia, and now here. And then from here, I get maybe up to Denver to see my buddy Phil and Stephanie Shepard. It's just Stephanie's birthday. I think I'm heading up that way. Then across to, there's a restaurant in Kansas City that Mikey Allday says I got to eat at. He'll pay for it. It's the best restaurant in the world. Then St. Louis to see, hopefully, Reverend Larry Etta Ellis. She is a black female Presbyterian minister in St. Louis, and was a good friend of mine in school, and I want to see her. And then down to Mississippi, a couple people there, and then over into Mississippi, there's another female black pastor that I know, Pastor Gina Black. I want to see her because she'd probably be upset if I didn't stop by and see her for sure. Anyways, and then in Alabama, I have heard tell a rumor that is being arranged a field trip of sorts to Montgomery and then to the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, someplace I've always wanted to go to. So let's see what's going on.
When's that supposed to happen?
Oh yeah, so this is all like another week and a half. I don't know. But,
so you mentioned you might want to stay on the road till your birthday.
Oh, now I'm in trouble. Now I'm in trouble with Doris.
But
no, driving around. That would be pretty
how
cool.
can we make that happen? You know,
Money. I don't know, man.
Reach
Put
out
me
to
up.
the
Apples and
people.
oranges. I don't know. It would be cool. I would
I think
continue
you
to
can
film.
do it.
You know, my birthday is the 26th of July, so that's
26, 25 days away.
25 days. Yeah, 26. Yeah, 25 and a wake up, or I don't know. What would that be? 24 and 2 wake ups. I don't know.
Or 3.
Yeah, about 3.5 weeks. 3.5 weeks. Be back. Yeah, that would be interesting. When are you starting here?
No, I mean, I think
Rucksack Revolution. You start a revolution,
I just
bro.
think people, embark on journeys for, like you started just the Elvis Burger, and then you stepped into, reaching out to your friend in Portland.
I would go back and get an Elvis Burger.
They might be open.
Yeah, they are open now. I would actually go. I don't have it scheduled to go back to Virginia for an Elvis Burger, but I could do that.
The win-win.
I could get the
Finally
Elvis Burger.
got it.
I was going to go to Memphis anyways to see a friend possibly, and Graceland is there. I don't know if I'd go to Graceland because I've never really had that desire, but I'd like to at least maybe the front gate, take that picture. And of course, there's Tupelo, Mississippi, where he's from. And I was thinking about going through Clarksdale anyways, home of the Delta Blues. I got to go by Cathead Records. It's the best blues records store on the planet. And they have a baseball cap that says Cathead on it. And I had one, and when I went there once in 2009, and at a gig, I gave it away to a woman for no real good reason, except I was drunk and so was she.
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't even like that. I don't know. She just talked me out of the hat. And I need to get another hat, maybe. I think I need to get even though I like your hat. This hat is badass. It's like Django, man. Remember Django?
Yes.
Was that last line of Django? He's outlined, right? Hey, baby, it's me. Django Jr. But yeah, that'd be cool. Mitch has been wanting me to post my Venmo and PayPal information again online. So maybe I'll do it with this video.
You should, because
I will since you turned it in this direction.
Well, you never know. I mean, if you never try, you don't know if you're going to fail or succeed with. But
I can name
dedication.
if I had 3.5 more weeks, and let's just assume that from here, what I had planned would be roughly a week and a half. So you're probably adding 2 weeks to the trip. We'll say, give or take a day. Some places I can think I would want to go, and some people I want to interview. I'd go back at the Elvis Burger, and hopefully do an interview of the manager or the waitress or server. I should say waitress. I don't like that term. I didn't get back in kitchens, man. Again, I cooked 20 years. Then some server would set me straight when I use that word, and then get my mind right. But yeah, do an interview there. I'd like to go to Huntsville, Alabama, where they have this space camp there. For kids, they have all the rockets. It's kind of like Cape Kennedy. Because I was a rocket. I built model rockets when I was a kid, and I want to be an astronaut. That's why Snoopy is named Snoopy on my vehicle. And I have 2 good friends that went in the last year. And so they're all 2 friends of mine went there to see the rockets display, and so that makes me really want to go. So I'd probably go to that and do some stuff. I'd like to see Beck Cranford in Atlanta. Beck Cranford is a homelessness minister and poverty minister in Atlanta with the Gateway Center and she does like amazing. Like she is an amazing person, and has a really cool daughter and a really cool husband. They just got married. I got a few years ago. And then maybe Paula Lark, who is my drumming mentor. She's my kind of mama's sister. She's kind of like she's my wisdom woman in my life who like will tell me to shut up when necessary, which is quite often when she's around because I talk too much.
What's
But no, she's a great drummer. She lives in Decatur, Georgia, out by Stone Mountain, actually.
Does she come down to the Lounge?
No, that would be a really cool. I never thought of that. I thought about seeing about her going to the Wild Goose Festival.
Because she's a facilitator, right?
Oh yes, yeah. She is like a what's the word? There's a word for griot. Isn't that the word, like a griot, G-R-I-O-T, like a storyteller in that deep sense?
Okay.
Wisdom translator, passing down the word. She she plays bass. She plays I think a little mandolin. I'm not sure, but she plays bass. Seems I've heard her strum on one. She plays djembe and another variety of percussion and tells stories that she'll be lay down a bass line and start telling a story about back to civil rights days or back wherever or whatever. And she's an amazing she's an amazing person. She likes working with kids a lot, and she'll go like she worked with church church retreats, and she'd go and present a whole weekend of kind of like education, music, participation, whatever. She's amazing. She's an amazing person, and she's an incredible drummer. I'd like to see her. Salem Wolf, who is right now a protest medic in Florissant, Missouri. I'd like to see them. I would like to see their mom, who is an old friend of mine. She lives in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which is right. You go to St. Louis and go south on the river, like you're going to Memphis. It's like right on the way. I've known her going on about 30-something years, about 30 years maybe. We were in the business together way back. She was a server, I was a cook. I knew Salem when Salem was in their mom's womb. Like we all go back. But I'd like to see her because she said she needs a couple days notice because she's going to prepare some serious food. And she can cook, bro. Like she could have a bed and breakfast. One of them ones has a bed and breakfast for their house and throws down on the food. She's amazing. Like,
don't miss that stop, man.
Yeah, but I'd like to see her. She has some things to say. And there's some other people, but I'm really looking forward, hopefully, to seeing Reverend Larietta Ellis and evangelist Tina Black. I call her pastor. I think her title's evangelist, but I call her pastor. But evangelist Tina Black, and then Ebony Hutchins in Bainbridge, Georgia. And hopefully, Ebony, if you see this, Mitch and I already talked on text or messenger, but I said I really, if I'm going to go to the Edmund Pettus Bridge with Warren, from Auburn, I would like you to come with us. I just feel kind of weird, two white guys walking around in this bridge. I don't know, but could you please? I don't know. We'll figure something out about the kids and bring them along. And it's not that far, I guess, to Auburn from Bainbridge, so I guess Warren's going to take us the rest of the way. So either way, but I would love it if you would go. It would mean the world to me, that's for sure. I mean, I had a reason. I wanted you to be the last person I see before I go to Florida, because I wanted to do a really good interview with you and just see you, because we haven't seen each other in a while, and you're a pretty cool person. So how's desert life?
Desert life's good. We fluctuate from trying to stay out of here in the summer, being up north.
So you live up north, like up by Taos, in the mountains.
Yes.
Up in the mountains, almost to Colorado.
Yep.
I'll be headed up that way.
And then you'll see why you would choose to do that, because we're barely cresting 85 degrees up there in the daytime. Still in the 50s.
That's like Flagstaff. I thought it was kind of hot until I started walking around. And that's a hot Flagstaff day. That means it's not over 84.
Yeah, I mean,
there were so many cars.
Oh,
like Flagstaff upscale. Like there was it was when I lived there. It would have been like the 4th of July might have been that crowded, maybe. It was just like a Saturday. I didn't go to Sedona because I knew Sedona would be worse trying to get through Slide Rock with the traffic. No way. But I've decided, at least the places where people drink, that I'm going to make these interviews 1 beer long, essentially.
Okay.
And no, this one we have to, wait a minute, this one might be a little longer because I forgot something important. We got to end the, we're going to end this video with the opening of another beer because, as I mentioned in a video with a couple of folks up there in Oregon, including my buddy Michael Turk, we all three were vets, and I mentioned something about how to open a beer bottle with a lighter. That this is like one of the major skills I learned in the military. I think it's an important life skill. You may not drink, but you may know someone who does, and one day they won't be able to open their beer. Okay, thank you. Off camera comes a lighter. I'll try to do this well. Let me take the last swig off this. This another one from the military. This is a wounded soldier. When you have a beer, this happened to me the other night at Adele's, and I felt awful because it was a really great beer. It was a big can, but I was so tired. I just fell asleep from driving. But when you leave some of the beer, you don't finish your beer. That's called leaving a wounded soldier on the battlefield, and you never want to leave a wounded soldier on the battlefield. So always make sure to finish it. Unless you're going to do something like throw up. If you think you're going to throw up or be stupid, don't finish your beer. Don't even open that beer. So just let you know, kids.
Gene, that's about as bad as going to sleep with your boots on, leaving wounded soldiers. Because you get all painted up by the time you wake up in the morning.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't pass out at the party either, because the guys like him, he won't like draw a mustache on your face. He'll like tattoo one on your ass or something, you know. So anyways, here's how it's done. I'm gonna get a little close. You don't have to zoom in. I'm gonna get a little. Just let me know. Like, am I in the camera right where they can see?
Yeah.
I just like to say this is an Elysian Space Dust IPA. It's 8.2% ABV. Incredible. So you take your lighter. What you want to do is make like a ring sort of around. As you can see, I'm just below the cap level here. And you're going to grip it really tight. And what you're going to do is take your lighter, the butt end, and it goes up under here. You see what I'm doing? Yeah. It's under here. And then you hook it under this finger. It's kind of weird when you're describing it. It's easier just to do it. But here you go. This is how it's done, and you're just going to use that as a lever against your finger, and you have to experiment a bit, but it works just like. Whoops. I'm talking smack. Come on now. These I pop them right off. There we go. There you go. That's how you do that. This is an important road skill. It's an important military skill. The 3 most important things I learned in the military was how to clean effectively, how to be a good janitor, how to buff a floor. How to deal with tremendous amounts of bullshit under all conditions, and how to open a beer with a lighter. The 3 basic skills of a soldier is to shoot, move, and communicate. But the 3 most important things I learned, again, how to clean, how to put up with bullshit under any condition, and how to open this beer with this lighter. This is Gene Elvis Burger 2020, bringing you the sights and sounds of folks in the United States and scenery and the places I go. Y'all be blessed. I'm out of here.